You don't want to kill me. Come on.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Mind of Mando. I am your host, Armando Ortega. If you guys are finishing your shift, hope you get the rest of your shift goes incredible. If you guys are working graveyard, hope you have a good day's sleep. So be prepared for your job tonight. If you work tonight, if you're day off, congratulations. Give me one sec. Man. It's just one of those days, you know, pretty decent. You know, the funny thing is the last episode I mentioned how it was over a week since I uploaded the episode before, and I've been like, you know, not really uploading as often, but that's mainly because of work. I mean, I already explained it last episode at the very beginning, but here's the thing. In my efforts to, you know, keep up a more updated release between every episode, maybe like 3 days is the ideal gap between episodes. I did it. On the third day, I was like, you know what? I have time. Make an episode real quick before Muay Thai. How do you call it? I set up everything. My mic, my stand, my phantom power, my camera, everything, you know? Here's the thing. Like around maybe, who knows? How long? Like maybe like 15 minutes in. Around that, 12 to 15 minutes in. Everything was working perfectly until I looked down at my camera and realized that I was no longer getting audio coming through. No more audio. And I was like, what the hell? And I thought I just didn't turn on my phantom power. Turns out it was on. And it just wasn't working with me anymore. I kept moving the cables. You know how back in the old days when we used to have earphones and everything connecting to our iPods before everything was in our phone? We would have iPods or Zunes if you were like trying to be hella hipster. And the headphones, if they were cheap or you were just abusing them a lot or whatever, like you had to bend the cable certain ways, hold it certain ways in order for both earphones to work. That was essentially what was happening, and it sucked and everything. And I was wondering if it was the cables. No, it wasn't. It was the phantom power. The phantom power finally upped and crapped on me. One second, let me turn this down. It's beautiful. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you who the artist was. One second. All right, the artist is Harold Alexander, Sunshine Man. I went weeks and weeks back to this record store like 2 blocks away from where I live, and they had it. And I never really listened to Harold Alexander, but I saw his album, started being like, okay, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna give it a try. Phenomenal. A great jazz album. Not everybody has a record player. Not everybody's gonna shell out like $35 for a record. So listen to it on YouTube. Harold Alexander, Sunshine Man. Still an amazing album he put out. Well, anyways, back to the original idea so I can move on with different topics. Excuse me. So yeah, it turns out it was my phantom power. And here's the reason I knew it was my phantom power. I forgot. I don't know if I brought this up before. I can't remember, but I'll bring it up now. Weeks and weeks ago, when I was finishing an episode before I started editing, I was putting my stuff away. Since I have a condenser mic, the condenser mic needs a phantom power in order to give it the extra oomph it needs to actually work. You know, it's not enough to connect your microphone to your camera. It's not a dynamic mic or anything like that. It's a condenser, so it needs that extra power, you know, hence phantom power and everything. So I was putting stuff away, and my phantom power fell from the tabletop. My tabletop isn't too high from the floor, but due to this phantom power not being, you know, the most expensive one, I knew something was going to be messed up. The only thing messed up was the fact that the red button that I had to push in order to turn it on and off was now gone. I had to grab something, you know, thin in order to push the actual thing to turn it on and off from that point onward. Weeks later, when I was deep cleaning the house and everything, I was moving stuff around and I found the red button. And I'm like, sweet. So I put it right back to the condenser mic, and, you know, it worked for another episode. And I actually dropped the phantom power twice, you know. Well, anyways, yeah, that's happened. And so I knew something was going to give out at some point. So when I was doing the last episode and I turned the phantom power on and everything was connected into my camera, it was working just fine. I replayed the footage, and the first few minutes I had audio, absolutely no problem. After that, it was, how do you say it? It just stopped working. Like all of a sudden I'm talking, boom, quiet, silence, not a sound. So I was like, damn, this thing crapped out. Lucky for me, it was Prime Day. well, I didn't buy it immediately. I waited for later that week, which was, you know, this week we're currently at right now, but earlier on the 12th and 13th, I bought it on the 12th. It was Prime Day. And so, wait, when was it? Yeah, this past Tuesday. And I just bought it. Same exact brand, everything like that. And yeah. It came in the next day, which was yesterday. I was going to do an episode yesterday, just didn't have the time because I had a busy schedule yesterday. So, you know, I like that. I like when I have my days off and I have a schedule. Like, these are the things I plan on doing, but this is the stuff I'm taking care of first. That's going to be a different topic. You know, let me just finish my original story. And yeah, so how do you say it? So yeah, I didn't have time to do a podcast yesterday. Plus, I spent the rest of the evening with my lady and playing with my buddy. By the way, my buddy, Wyoming, he finally got his own place. Congratulations to you, bro. You know, finally got your own place. You know, not a house, but you know, it's something. You got to start from something, bro. So yeah, he got his own place, and he got his own TV, and he has his own Wi-Fi, and he got a job. This guy's moving forward. It's great. It's amazing. I'm proud of him. So anyways, yeah, we played finally again. We played Stardew Valley yesterday. Yeah, it's a fun game and everything. Think Harvest Moon, but like not Harvest Moon. So how do you call it? So today is just, you know, didn't really have a super busy schedule today. I know what I plan on doing, but it's not really like, you know, like set in stone. It's just stuff I'm gonna get done. One of the things I want to get done is my podcast episode for today. I don't know how long this is gonna last or anything. Honestly, I have full battery and a completely empty SD card, so it could last forever. No, not really. But how do you call it? Now I'm using my new phantom power and everything. It may be the same brand, but the casing is a lot smaller, you know? Like, it's not tiny, but once I opened it, I saw the phantom power box, and it wasn't as big as my original one. My original one I've been having since 2016, like the beginning of 2016. So, you know, I was immediately able to tell a difference. It kind of feels a little bit different, but that could probably either be because of new material or the fact that my old one is just so worn at this point because I handled it so much. So, yeah. Hopefully it performs well, you know. This Blue Ember mic, better quality than my old one, along with this new phantom power. I don't know, let's see how it sounds once oops, that was my phone. Let's see how it performs once how do you call it, I start editing it. Hopefully it sounds well. I'm hoping it sounds well. Still upgrading though. A lot's happened, you know, since the last episode, and it's and you know, it's It's chill. You know, like for example, you remember last episode? It was an Assassin's Creed episode and everything. Two things happened to me related to Assassin's Creed, or three things, correction. One is that I started playing Assassin's Creed Origins again, replaying it. At first, it was slow. I had to get used to it, but I hadn't played that game since the beginning of 2019 because I beat it in the beginning of 2019. I haven't touched it since then. So now it's 2022, and despite playing Odyssey for hours after that, and then even more hours of Valhalla, when I went back to Origins, it was like I never stopped. I remembered everything. I remembered everything that went on, and let me tell you, it's still fun and stuff. Second thing, I am a huge fan of tea. Tea has helped me out a lot. Tea in the past has helped me lose weight. It's also been a very pleasant alternative to caffeine that I would get from coffee, which, by the way, I actually have to start going back to. The way I would do it is when my tolerance for coffee started getting like bigger and bigger, I would have to stop drinking coffee and let that tolerance lower a lot. So I would switch to tea for it, because tea still, depending on what you got, still has caffeine, and how do you call it, it's more natural, it's better for you, you know. But coffee still has that thing that just can't be really replicated like that. So one thing that I got is this Etsy. I spoke about it in the past, the website Etsy. Everybody should go frequent that website. It's really good. It sells a lot of things, a lot of independent shop owners, creators, yada yada. They sell all their stuff. Well, one thing that I found was there's this one how do you call it, profile called Lady Grey Kitchen Brand Tea. Lady Grey Kitchen Brand Tea. She does like video game fantasy stuff, themed teas, products, and everything. And one of the things that she did was this tea called Raven Clan Brew. Anybody who's played Valhalla would know that once you move to England and everything, you start this location called Ravensthorpe, and you guys are the Raven Clan. So it has Raven Clan Brew as the title. It has Mjolnir right next to it to the left. I'll post up a picture so everybody can see and everything. You get it from it. I'm assuming it's a woman. Her shop's name is at the very top, Lady Grey Kitchen Brand Tea. And it has all the stuff inside of it. It has honeybush, chamomile, chicory root, cloves, angelica root, and red rooibos. I don't know how to pronounce that last one. But yeah, it has that. The package is a lot smaller than I intended, but it's fine. You know, it's fine. I think it holds up and everything like that. I've had it for almost a week at this point. And yeah, just absolutely no complaints about it and everything. It's loose leaf tea. So if you guys are a fan of loose leaf, I suggest you guys, you know, get it and get this thing so you can like steep it. I have this ball thing that, how do you call it? I can like twist the handle part up and then it'll open, just scoop up some loose leaf tea and then close it and then dunk it in and it'll steep. It is some delicious tea. And yeah, I recommend it if you guys want some. There's another one called Eagle Bear. I think I'm gonna get it in a few days, but yeah, this tea is delicious. And the third thing, Assassin's Creed related. Yesterday I got a new tattoo, finally, over a year. It's the AC Unity logo. And the reason I got that one is because my two all-time favorite installments of Assassin's Creed is Unity and 3. I know those are not the most popular ones, but I mean, the people who don't like him, typically, not saying all, but typically their complaints or dislikes of it are superficial, aren't really like a reflection of the game or story itself, but rather their own preference. So it's just like, yeah, what do you call it? When you really think about it, Assassin's Creed 3, Connor, his story makes sense, so to speak. His experiences make sense as to why he is the way he is, you know? It's like, yeah, you have people out there who can have a positive attitude no matter what, but if you live the experiences he had, I mean, he has a reason to be the way he is, you know? And the fact that he still pushed forward, it's amazing. And Arno, I mean, like, you know, this guy, him and Connor are similar in a lot of aspects. They lost their blood relatives. They lost their adopted relatives. They, you know, they lost a lot, but they still continued. They still continued, especially after having to make some difficult choices. So, those are my two favorite ones. The only reason I got Unity was the fact that, I don't know, I prefer the Unity logo. But yeah, I got it. And it looks good. Let me tell you that. It looks really good. I am glad I got it. I'm going to keep doing designs around it because right now it just looks like, you know, it's just the logo plastered on all randomly. But, you know, once I start making more designs around the logo and everything, it'll start feeling more natural. And it's amazing. But yeah, how are you guys been doing? You know, I've been doing pretty solid and everything like that. My lady and I, every day, living, being together, having great times and everything. We actually went this past Saturday to this thing. Where is it? It's by Little Italy. Let me look it up. Actually, it's called Waterfront Park. It's like this little parky area. They were having an event called Bayfest this past Saturday. And it's a lot of reggae music. Plus, there was a band that was performing called Atmosphere that she's been listening to for years and years. I personally never heard of them, but that's because I never really listened to that type of music. But they sounded really good. They sounded really good and everything. And I'm glad she had an incredible time. We both went there. It was a beautiful, beautiful sunny San Diego day. That's what they meant by saying sunny San Diego. It was just a beautiful day. I wish we were better prepared because it was hot and the sun, you know, being summer, isn't going to go down anytime soon. But it was fun, you know. We enjoyed the music, good food, good beer. Everything's way too expensive there, though. But, like, you know, we had an incredible time. After that, we unwinded, came home, relaxed, washed up, everything, you know. And it was a great Saturday. And this Saturday, we're going to go to Ocean Beach and everything. So, yeah. I left last episode, you know, the whole AC deal, Assassin's Creed deal. I'm just going to finish it up real quick because I was going through, like, everything. How is it? Oh, yeah, Origins was great. That's when they really started establishing, like, different gods and the fact that a lot of the gods were actually just like the first civilization, the Isu and everything, but like modern day humans revere to them as gods, which is why you get the gods you get in the Egyptian mythology, in the Greek mythology, and in the Norse mythology and everything like that. They fleshed it out a lot more in Valhalla. Odyssey, by far my least favorite. Like, it's just not a good installment. Like, don't get me wrong, Odyssey had some good things going on for it, you know? Like, it's just, like, let me think of some examples. An iconic theme. Like, I'm not saying it was the best theme, I'm just saying it's an iconic theme. But how do you say it? What were some things? Jesus Christ. I can barely think about it. The Spartan kick was fun. It was weird how it's the only Assassin's Creed game to not have a hidden blade, unless you bought a later DLC for it, which introduced it. But still, the ship sailing was fun. Damn, I feel terrible. The fact that this is the only I have to struggle to list some good things. I know I have some good things that I see. Oh yeah, fighting the mythical creatures were fun. I'm not gonna lie. Finding the mythical creatures was exciting, was fun, was great to see how they incorporated things to actually be legitimate. It's like people are like the Minotaur, for example. Like when you get, I forgot what island you get. Like people are all about the Minotaur. The Minotaur, oh my god, the Minotaur, so great, It's like the mighty Minotaur, the ferocious Minotaur, and then you have statues of the Minotaur throughout the entire vast map and everything. And then you have people selling Minotaur merch, and then you have people dressing up as the Minotaur, and then you have people committing fraud as the Minotaur and everything. It's a whole thing and everything. And throughout the entire time, it's just like, damn, these people love the Minotaur, this mythical creature and everything like that. That's cool, but that's about it. That's as far as it goes, And then like as you keep traveling and everything, one thing you notice is that you find this little boy by himself in this random, secluded, abandoned location and everything, and it's like, dude, what are you doing here by yourself? He's just like, my dad, he went down there with some guys because they were looking for something. And then the guys ran out and I kept asking for my dad and they wouldn't tell me. And now I know my dad's down there. I know he's down there. I'm going to be strong enough to go down there and get him back. I just have to find a way to open this thing and everything like that. And they're like, oh, why were they running? I was like, oh, this whole thing, they got scared, yada, yada, He's not really making sense. So since he's not really making sense, it's just like, this kid isn't really all there. But then like, he takes you to show you what he's meaning, and it looks different. It's like, man, this doesn't look like any structure I've ever seen before. And yeah, hold on, let me flip this album real quick. Get a brush. Oh man. I had to like align my needle because there's this one song that, like, I get it. Music can be abstract. Not everything's for everyone. I love this album. It's great. The only difference is when you flip over the record to the second side, the first song that plays is the longest one in that side. The thing is, one of the trumpets just sounds like it's screaming. And it gets irritating after a while, personally. So I'm just like, let me just switch to this side, It sounds, listen, it sounds a lot more pleasant, You hear it. 1 second. Delicious tea, I swear. So yeah. So you have to reach a certain level. Well, you don't have to, but it's recommended to reach a certain level before you even get down there and everything to see where the hell this guy's dad is at and what's going on and everything. But finally you do. You get whatever you need to get, the armory, whatever you want to wear. And oh yeah, that's one thing that I actually genuinely did like about Odyssey was the fact that if you liked the way a certain piece of armor looked, but it wasn't the best statistics and you didn't have enough money to actually like up or materials to upgrade that piece of equipment and everything, you can find a better piece of armor with like higher higher damage output, higher like damage resistance, and possibly better perks, and just change the look on the fly to the one that you like and everything. So if you like a Spartan armor that's unique and everything like that, like the Helm of the Wolf, I think it's called. Once you like, you know, whatever choice you make with Leonidas, you have his helmet and everything. It's a unique Spartan helmet. I liked it, but it wasn't the best helmet at the moment. So when I started getting stronger helmets with stronger and better perks, I was able to just put on the stronger helmet and just change the appearance while keeping all the perks of the one originally. So it's just like you were able to do that at any point in the game, and that's why I loved it. That's part of the reason. That's one thing that I liked about Odyssey, genuinely, for reals. Well, anyways, back to my original go at it. Basically, you go down there, you jump down there, and you end up at, you know, when you go to what are those things called? Precursor site and everything. You see the influence of the first civilization, the lines, the glowing, yada yada. It's the style of the Isu. And you go in there, and once you go in there, you start hearing roars, and it's like, what? And you start going around, you're seeing that people are there dead, they've been gored, they've been ripped apart, everything. Eventually, and it's a maze, it's a labyrinth you have to navigate through. And as soon as you start getting closer, you start hearing the roar get louder and louder. You find the kid's dad. Of course, he's dead. That's why the other guys weren't going back for him. What do you call it? Yeah. And guess what? Turns out the Minotaurs are real. You go to the end and you see a literal Minotaur. It's a real thing. And so, yeah. So that's what Odyssey did alike. And that's what I'm saying. I liked the legendary fights. I liked how they were introduced, the build up to them, and their designs. It's very, very unique, and it's actually very fun when you're fighting against them. I don't think the payout is the best, to be honest, because it's part of this Atlantis quest, but nonetheless, the actual battles, although tedious, can be very fun, and visually it's beautiful. So yeah, so that was Odyssey. Other than that, I didn't really like it, because it's just like the dialogue wasn't memorable. The characters, yeah, they had iconic historical characters in there, like I mentioned in the last episode, but they just weren't really fun to listen to, you know? And how do you call it? What else? Crap. Oh yeah, the missions, the things you had to do and everything. While you're exploring the world, you find fortresses, just like you did in every other AC game. You find fortresses, and in Odyssey, it encourages you as you're passing them by. It's like, hey, look, a fortress. The enemies are in there, but then they're like, hey, there's stuff in there you could collect and progress to completion of the game. And you're like, you know what? The fortress is in the way of me and my goal. So let me just take out this fortress real quick and then go to my goal. You do that. You take out everybody in the fortress. You collect everything you need to collect, destroy everything you need to destroy. You're good. All right, let me progress to my goal. You go to the goal, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, Alexios or Cassandra, whoever you choose. Some soldiers took my stuff, and I need it for helping these patients. They're located in that fortress. Can you get them back for me? And it's the fortress you just cleared out. And you're like, what? I was just there, you know? And then you go back to the fortress, and their soldiers have respawned. And the old dead bodies, the one you killed, they're still there, but the soldiers are just walking hella normal. And it's just like, what the hell? You know, this doesn't make any sense. But yeah, that's just what it is, and that's majority of the quests. Clear. If you clear fortress beforehand while on the way to a destination, it's likely that you're gonna be sent back to that very same fortress to clear it out, and it's just it's repetitive. There's just no incentive, or it's just escort missions or like fetch quests. and that's really about it. It's not fun. They give you breaks here and there by like going to fight legendary animals, not the mythical creatures, the legendary animals. But every game has been doing that now. And even the payout isn't even that great to be honest. If you do that, or how do you say the main story? No. Every store land, there's conflict between the Spartans and the Athenians and everything, and whichever side you align to, you can help make sure that either the Spartans maintain control of certain lands or the Athenians do. But those things can happen either way. And honestly, they're not even essential to the plot. Like if you want to fight for the Spartans, you can let the Athenians take over every single region, every single section of the map, and it won't affect your gameplay at all, really. Like there's no alliance. Like either way, whether you choose to fight for the Spartans or Athenians, if the opposing team that you want to be on is the one in control of a region, they won't act aggressive towards you. But if you go into one of their forts, then that's different. Even if the side that you're on maintains control of a region, they'll still be aggressive to you if you enter one of the forts that you're not supposed to. So it's just like, it doesn't make sense. It's not essential to this whole thing. I like the idea, but it's not essential. If you're a Spartan, if you're fighting for the sides of the Spartans and you want to take over a region for the Spartans that's under Athenian control, you can do that. You can take out a leader. You can take out fortresses until you get enough like influence over the region that you can wage out a war between the opposing team in a battlefield, in a secluded area, and then you defeat enough people and then you win, and there you go, your team's taking over the region, which is cool, but it's repetitive. There's nothing like there's no real incentive to do it at all. Not whatsoever. Not a great unlockable, not a rare achievement, not anything that would aid you in your gameplay. It's just there to do it and everything. And the thing I do like about it is that you can flat out, how do you call it? Like in order to win, to, how do you call it, start a battle, you have to kill the one in charge of that region from the opposing enemy side. If you choose to just sneak your way in there, because keep in mind, they're always having bodyguards around them no matter where they're walking around. If you decide to go in there all stealthy, kill people around, then assassinate this guy and everything with your broken Leonidas spear, you can do it, like you can do it. And if you manage to assassinate him, then there you go. You can start the whole conflict thing. But the cool thing is that if you take down fortresses and everything, what the hell is happening there? I forgot about that part. If you take down fortresses before then, or you take out certain other like leaderships and everything of that region, you'll notice a bar, I believe in the bottom right, where it shows that the one in charge of that region is slowly losing his men's faith in him. And it'll get to the point where you have completely crushed the faith his men have in him, that he'll go and exile himself to a different location. And now he doesn't have bodyguards. Now he doesn't have anybody protecting him. He doesn't have nobody around him or anything like that. You can assassinate him without any trouble. And then there you go. That's the only cool thing, really. But yeah, that was Odyssey. Like, I don't care. I haven't finished it all, at all. I just don't care to. I just looked up how it connects to everything else through YouTube, and that's about it. Valhalla is great, though. I enjoy it. It took some time to really get used to it, but it actually made me enjoy the MMO or RPG version, not MMO, the RPG version of Assassin's Creed. and it's really fun. The fact that you can upgrade your weapons and armor, and not only does their stats get better, but their appearance changes alongside with it. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. It actually like gives you incentive to max up certain armors that you like, because not only does maxing up make the stats better, but it's also fun to see how armors and weapons look at their final upgraded physical appearance. And if you don't like it, you could always just go back to your blacksmith and change it back to a style you did like, you know, while keeping the best stats once you unlock them. And that's fun. The only thing I don't like is that when it originally came out, it didn't have the thing Odyssey had, whereas you can wear a great piece of armor and then change the appearance to the one you actually like. They later added on to that, but there was a problem. Unlike Odyssey, where you were able to actually change it to whatever you wanted, whenever you wanted, and everything, in Valhalla, you have to go to a blacksmith and you have to pay them 15 silver. 15 silver isn't a lot, but it's just like the fact that you have to pay and you have to be at a blacksmith and everything to change it every single time you want to change it. Like, let's say you change it to like an appearance and you actually click the wrong one. Well, now you got to pay again to change it again, you know? And it's annoying, you know? Damn, this guy's like going at it right now. Let me turn this off. I feel bad because the album was actually almost done and everything, like probably another minute or so. But I was just like, no, I'm good right now. Let me put something on. Yeah. There we go. I'll just put some music from Assassin's Creed 3 since we were just talking about it earlier. Well, anyways. So, yeah. So, that's really the only thing, really. For Valhalla, the devs at Ubisoft have been putting a lot of work in. A lot. And I'm actually very grateful for that, you know? I like when companies do that, because what they've done is essentially what I praised The Witcher 3 that they did. The Witcher 3, from my knowledge, they only released 2 DLCs, which were expansion packs, which actually added hours of additional gameplay for each one of them. New regions, new quests, new characters, new items, new everything, you know? It wasn't just like, hey, here's an extra mission, or hey, here's an extra costume or whatever. Excuse me. It was actually like, hey, look, more. Our base game was the game we wanted to release, but we just thought about this after the fact and wanted to give you more. And see, that's what I like, which justified their $20 price per expansion and everything. And I feel like, oh my God, this one's so great. Just listen to this. Assassin's Creed 3 versions of Ezio's Family soundtrack is by far my favorite. Oh my God, I love this game. It's so great. But yeah, so how do you say it? I'm sorry, just can't stop listening to this. Right here. Oh man. Brings back memories from like when I was 18. Tea is so delicious. So that's basically what Ubisoft did with Valhalla. They're releasing a final DLC right now, especially since it's their 15-year anniversary of well, they say 15 year. Well, it is 15 years actually. Of Assassin's Creed franchise and everything. They're doing a bunch of huge stuff, you know. It's actually pretty fun. But yeah, so they've been doing that with Valhalla. They haven't just released DLCs, they've been releasing expansion packs, and I feel like their $20 season pass for all of them is completely justified, because each one adds hours and hours of gameplay. So yeah, that's my thoughts and everything. But how do you call it, Valhalla, and this is the part I'm excited about. Assassin's Creed, Ubisoft have partnered with Venom Fighting Gears. And if you go to the Venom website right now, venum.com, you'll realize they have an entire section dedicated to Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And their gloves, everything looks beautiful. And I'm buying myself a pair because I'm going to go, use it and everything, especially since I'm fighting again. But yeah, it's just Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It really gets me into it. A lot of people say that, oh, this isn't an Assassin's Creed game and everything. And I understand what they mean by that, because when it comes down to it, compare Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, compare it to Assassin's Creed, the very first one. Compare it to Assassin's Creed 2. They're two completely different style games, The only thing that ties them together is the fact that there's a First Civilization Isu storyline and a Hidden Blade, but that's about it. If you take away the Hidden Blade and the Isu from Valhalla, it's just a Viking game. It is just a Viking game. But at the end of the day, it is an Assassin's Creed game. It has the name, it has the weapon, it has the lore in it. It has the animus, it has everything, that Assassin's Creed has. But if you take it for what it is, it's leaning more towards a Viking game. And I feel like Ubisoft, if they made just a dedicated Viking game like they did with Valhalla, then it would have been a hit for what it was. And yeah, so it's just like, but it actually made me really invested in it. I started raiding and everything. That I was pillaging, just fighting with axes, and just like, going to Valhalla and everything. And it's just, it made me feel really good. And as soon as I saw this Raven Clan tea, I just had to get it. And I did. I started playing AC while drinking the tea, and I felt incredible. Man, it tastes good. Well, anyways, one thing I was going to get is my buddies and I were talking about it last night while playing Stardew Valley. I mentioned this, and I hope some people kind of agree with me. I think Ezio is overrated. Like, I truly do. I think Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, and Revelations are just like overrated games. I didn't enjoy Brotherhood. I really did not enjoy Revelations. I played them for the story, but even the story kind of bored me until Altair came out. But how do you call it? I just wasn't a fan. I just really didn't care much for it at all. And yeah, it just didn't resonate with me, really. I understood what happened and everything. I haven't played it for years, but I understood what was happening. It just wasn't great. I think Ezio, people are a huge fan of Ezio because, how do you call it? It's just who he is as a character, A lot of people either can resonate with who he is as a character or want to resonate with who he is as a character, if you understand what I mean. Ezio de Todo Diferente was born in a prime time of Renaissance Italy. Oh my god, that's loud. Yeah, was born in prime Renaissance Italy, He was born to a very wealthy family. He grew up to his late teenage years, if not being like 20, 21 years old, knowing his family and everything, having both parents be there for him, living in a villa, living with money, living with a crew of friends, you know, being suave, being smooth, being a ladies man, being very good looking and everything like that. Who doesn't want to be that way? You know, for dudes, who doesn't want to be that way? Who doesn't want to have a great place to live? Who doesn't want to have money so they can live comfortably? Who doesn't want to live a life where they don't have to struggle, you know, and who can literally pull whoever they want? People want to be that, you know, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. That's an ideal life for a lot of people. That's ideal. Not having to struggle, having everything right there for you, and just being used to having things your way. Yeah, of course, you know. It's like, no one right now at this moment can't say that they wouldn't want things to go their way, you know. So 1 second. So yeah, so how do you say it? He was a great character, and he was charismatic also. A lot of people love that charisma, for reals. And he was fun. Ezio faced tragedy though, you know, seeing the people he trusted in betray him, seeing, you know, his family get hanged in front of him, minus his sister and his mother. It's a tragedy. Yes, but he wasn't completely without complete loss. My bad. He wasn't let me just say that again. I can't speak English right now. He didn't completely lose everything. You know, he later found out that he had his uncle Mario. It's a me, Mario. You know, he went back to this huge. I want to keep saying villa, but it's villa. He only got a bigger place where he was in charge of everything, you know. He had his mother still. He had his sister, you know. And it's just like what do you call it? Oh, by the way, one of the worst payoffs ever for the most annoying side mission ever. The fact that you had to collect 100 feathers. Was it 100 feathers? Yeah, you had to collect 100 feathers for your mother, who is refusing to speak until you collect every single one of them, because that's what her youngest son loved to do, collect feathers. And once you get it, which is going to take hours and hours and hours and hours, once you get it, what's your prize for all your hard work? It's your mother finally speaking, which is nice, you know, finally hearing your mother's voice again. But it's a cape. One of the cool things about AC2 is the fact that you had a shoulder cape. Basically, it looks super good. Different capes gave you different perks, different abilities, yada yada. But the cape, the one that you had to, is so annoying to get when you're finally gifted for your hours of hard work with tedious puzzles and everything. The cape you get, once you equip it, makes everyone around you immediately aggro towards you. That's it. That was your prize. A cape that makes everybody try and kill you. What's the point? You know, I just left my mother mute forever. I'm like, whatever, you know, I'm not doing that. But yeah. So, how do you call it? People love that character. And I understand. Why people love that character. That being said, another reason why people love Ezio is the fact that Ezio was so fleshed out. You literally saw Ezio when he was born, when he was a young adult, from when he put on the ropes for the first time, found out his dad was an assassin. He lost 3 of his family members, had to struggle, but persevered, but still had money, still had his mother and sister, still gained even more family, actually, that he didn't even know, gained a bigger place, and just still got things his way, you know. It's just things still his way. And he got to be fleshed out for 3 installments. And then Brotherhood, he was a man now. He was a man. He has experience. He has wisdom and everything like that. But he was able to travel to a different land, helping out other Brotherhoods. And then you have Revelations, where he's now a grown adult, where he's reaching his older years at this point. Like, he's becoming an old man close to retirement. Well, he's becoming an older man that should probably start thinking about retirement. And you grew up with Ezio. That's how you make people love a character, is by letting them be there for that character's most vulnerable moments and most triumphant victories. And that's what we were given with Ezio. The problem with that is that now you set a bar, and you set that bar super high. And there you go. You got a charismatic, suave, handsome, rich playboy and everything like that, who's also an assassin, who still gets the ladies, who can travel to different countries and everything like that. And he's just doing so much, and you're there with him all the time. That's what I'm saying. People want to relate with him, and some people can relate to him to an extent. And then how do you follow that up? How do you follow up the conclusion, the trilogy that is of Ezio Auditore di Firenze? Move from Europe to the Americas during the worst one of the worst parts of American history, which was the American Revolution, basically. And it's just like, it was a war. You weren't in a war in AC2. Well, maybe between the Assassins and Templars, but there was a literal war happening. Not through different factions, but through races. Through men. Through people who weren't part of the Templar or Assassin Order. There was war happening. So of course, when you get put in the shoes of a Native American who's growing up with, his mother being killed in a fire after being choked out by Colonial and everything, only to return and see his entire village set ablaze when he's only like 4 years old, it's not going to make you want to grow up to be a chipper, suave person. Because as you're growing up, you're still facing those injustices. You're still hearing people refer to you and your people as savages, as mongrels, etc., and everything like that. Calling you names that you aren't, And it's like, how do you expect to grow up? Ezio didn't have to do any of that at all. And it was like, Connor was in a village. Ezio was in a villa. Connor was choked out when he was 4. Ezio was probably playing with his maids or whatever. When he was 4, Connor saw his family, his mom burned alive and his village set ablaze. Ezio was given like 3-course meals in a very huge table inside a luxurious home, It's like, these aren't the same people. They didn't have the same experience. They didn't grow up. Ezio had to struggle into fights, but he had to struggle fights that he himself also contributed in, like fan the flames and everything like that. And he enjoyed it. Connor had to kill his own food in order to eat and everything. How do you call it? Ezio faced tragedy when he was like 21, watching his brothers get hanged. Connor was getting hunted. That's what happens. His land was being taken from him. And like after that, Ezio set off to get revenge and everything like that. But he still gained even more family and a bigger place to live. And then you have Connor, who's just trying to fight to have his people keep their land. After it's been burnt out and then they rebuilt, their land is still tempted to be taken. And he's trying to fight for their freedom and everything. It's like, these aren't the same characters. How do you expect Connor to be a suave, handsome, rich character like Ezio was if he had the crappiest start ever? Of course, people are like, oh, he's just so serious. He's so, he's brooding. He's not that big, like the great, like the Ezio was and everything. It's just like, because he's not Ezio. He's Reto no Kedon. He's Connor. And it's just like, You can't expect two people on opposite sides of the world in different time periods with different upbringings and experiences to be exactly the same. That's just unrealistic, you know? Well, anyways, on top of that, Connor only had one game. He only had one game. There was no expansion DLC or anything. That was it. And that was it. He was only mentioned in the end of Rogue for a brief moment. And that was it. There's nothing else about Connor, like a comic, yeah. But there's no way to know what his conclusion was. And yet people think that one game with a character who experienced a different upbringing, different live experiences, is enough to justify why he isn't as good as the rich, suave playboy who had everything handed to him in a silver platter, who still ended up growing even bigger than what he was. You know? It's just, it doesn't make sense, which is why I was just like, I say Ezio's overrated. I truly do. If you give Shay Patrick Cormac from Rogue, Arno Dorian from a Unity, and Connor, Reto no Keidon, from Assassin's Creed 3 sequels, I guarantee you, people will be able to listen to feel more understanding and how do you say it? Be able to grow with that character even further. You know, it's something that's needed. Yeah, these characters are characters that need to be fleshed out more because they aren't the suave people that people got for 3 games with Ezio. They are their own characters with different upbringings and different experiences with more tragedies that were faced by them than Ezio has. So yeah, that's just my whole thing and everything. Damn, I spoke a lot about Assassin's Creed this episode. Let's try something else. Oh yeah, I'll try and post up a picture of my tattoo. I'm actually very proud of it. I mean, like, it's new and everything. Like, since I just got it done less than 24 hours ago. How do you call it? The ink is still very dark, very black and everything. But I'm comparing it to because I got it on the same other side from my other tattoo. My other tattoo is very, not faded, but because it's scabbed over and was able to actually heal and it's now set and everything like that. It's not as vibrant as my new one right now, which, you know, if you guys haven't had tattoos before, it's like, don't be sad and everything like that your tattoo doesn't look as vibrant as it did when you got it done, because that's just what happens with all tattoos. It's like, how do you call it? You get ink, it's fresh ink, it's bright, fresh ink and everything. So of course it's gonna pop out more. You're gonna see it more and everything, but that's because your tattoo hasn't healed yet. It takes about 2 weeks, maybe more, maybe a little less, depending on what it is and how your body works. But your tattoos have to scab over, you know? They have to heal, because you got to realize, essentially, you're continuously putting thousands, if not tens of thousands, like pricking your skin so many times and everything, and injecting ink in there. So your skin is taking, you know, damage. It's getting opened up and everything. So now your skin has to heal and everything. Think about it as like you get a scrape on your knee, but it's not like severe like that. What happens? You have an open wound at that point. You have to cover it. You have to maintain it. You have to treat it after it's, you know, the damage is done. It'll eventually scab over, and then the scabbing will fall. And then there you go. You're either left with a scar or you're not. Except in this case, you're left with your tattoo, and your tattoo won't be as vibrant as it was when you first got it, but it still be there. It still won't look bad. There's this product actually that I looked at before called Mad Rabbit Tattoo. I was thinking about it because it was just like, this is my personal experience. So anybody else who ever tried them, if you like it, go ahead, keep using it. But this is my personal experience. I was thinking about getting them because I only have one tattoo that's completely colored. That's it. And I was just like, yeah, no, you know what? I should probably use that. Yada, yada. Because I wanted to maintain the vibrant colors. But then I saw one example that they gave which is someone had these red flowers on them. I don't think they were roses. They were just some red flowers. And what it was is they had a before and after picture. And they're like, this is before you use Mad Rabbit tattoo cream, you know? And it's like, and this is after. And the first one was clearly dull. Was clearly like, yeah, the color was there, but it wasn't vibrant. Then they had the second one. And now the tattoo was vibrant. You know, the reds were brighter, the greens were brighter, everything. The problem was this. The tattoo that I saw, the person was wearing the same exact thing in a very almost similar pose. Except not only were their tattoo colors brighter, but their entire body was brighter. Their clothes are brighter. And I was like, huh, that's weird. That's really weird. That cream can just make everything around you bright? That's insane. Of course, that's sarcasm. I knew all they did was just turn up the saturation or whatever to make everything brighter. And I was just like, yeah, no. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your money on that, you know. I'm sure there's products out there that'll help maintain the vibrant colors of your tats, but it's just like, just let it flow. I'm pretty sure artists will be able to touch it up for you once in a while if you want it to keep going and everything. But yeah, that was just my whole thing and stuff. I want to get more, but I know that's just gonna take time. Gotta really, how do you call it, control money flow and spending, you know, usual adult stuff. And yeah, it's just something that I enjoy doing. If you guys want to do it too, you know, just, I recommend sit on it. Basically, like whatever you want to get, just sit on it. Look at something you like, design something you want on you or whatever, and just sit there and just think about it. It'll take days, maybe a few weeks or so, but just at the end of you just really taking a lot of time to think about it, if you truly feel that this is what you want, this is what you want to get, then get it, you know? Because trust me, this is personal experience. There's times where I think about tattoos that I wanted to get, like from years ago. And I'm just like, I had these dope ideas, like, oh man, this idea is so cool, yada yada, you know, this is now, I want it right here, I want it looking like that and everything. And then I think about it, and then I'm just like, you know, I'll just wait, I'll just think about it more. And then time passes, and then I've looked back and I'm like, you know what, it's a good idea, I just didn't get that one then. And so yeah, the ones I got now, I wanted them all. You know, I thought about it and I was like, yep, and I don't regret them. But yeah, so it's just like, just really sit on it, just think about it if it's a good idea, you know. I'm not telling you how to live your life, but for me, because of the stuff I want to do, I avoid my neck, and I avoid my face, and I avoid my hands. If I can't cover it up with a shirt, pants, or a long sleeve, I'm just not gonna get it in that area. So yeah, I'm just how do you say it? I'm just happy that I got it, and that's all I really can say at this point. But yeah, there's a lot more stuff I can like speak about and everything. Oh yeah, there's actually one thing. Where was it? Something that I saw before, and I was just like, well, these guys are crazy. Oh, by the way, my Facebook picture is of a cat. And I think that cat looks really cool. Yeah, it's just gonna be like hella dead air and stuff like that. Honestly, I should probably just cut it off here and everything just to save for topics. But I'll talk about this one. I can't think about what I was gonna talk about before because of everything that's happened. But I'm gonna talk about this one because I just saw it yesterday and again today. There's this video. If you guys watch Police Activity, it's a YouTube channel. It's cool. I like him because for the most part, they're very open and neutral with the information, because what it is a more of an education channel. Basically, they write down in the description the date, the time, the location, who was involved, yada yada. If they got names, they'll post up the names and everything, and explain the situation as what happened per reports, per witnesses, yada yada. And then there's links to direct you to more information. They'll do that too. It's a very, very good channel. I very do much enjoy it. If law enforcement acts justified, they'll point it out. If law enforcement acts cowardly, unjustified, corrupt, they'll point it out. And I love it. Love it. For reals. Well, anyways, I saw a video yesterday. And, you know, it's easy to Monday night quarterback. You know, that can apply for everything. But I feel like at these times, it's more applicable to law enforcement, because as a law enforcement officer, you're held to a very higher standard, and you need to live up to that standard. It's no other way around it. You know, we all have our limits, but in the end of the day, law enforcement officers chose that career, and they knew what it was going to entail. So be on your toes. Well, anyways, and just, if you guys didn't know, I'm not against law enforcement. It's just, you know, saying I'm pro law enforcement, it sounds very dirty right now, but I will say that's where I lean more and everything. But I do call out the crap when I see it. So yeah, just like that stuff in Texas. Well, anyways, what had happened was this, and this is speaking from similar and personal experiences. There is this call that these officers got that a man has stabbed another individual in a certain location. So this vehicle pulls up, officer driving, officer is in the passenger seat. The contacting officer, the one who was driving, who pulled up, what she did was she saw the man, she got out of her car, she walked up, and she attempted to take charge. And the reason I say attempted is because when you're in that line of work and you know that there's a very serious, potentially very dangerous and deadly situation, you can't go into it being all flimsy, being all like looking at the ground, kicking dirt, and just being like, shucks, mister, do you mind just helping me out, and, you know, just tell me what happened, this and that. You can't be like that. If you meet somebody who you have to put under arrest, who has just been confirmed to stab another human being, hey, what do you think they're going to try and listen to you for, you know? So you go in there firm and strict, but you also got to be careful, because who's this behind me? Oh, it's my cat Peaches. She's so cute. Because what had happened is the man, he was pressed up against the wall, you know, facing towards the cop, and he was just there chilling. And she goes, "Hey, I need you to get your knife out." He's like, "No." I was like, "Give me the knife." And he's like, "No, it's my property." And she's like, "Give me the knife now." He's like, "No, I was protecting myself." And then the final time, "Take your knife out and put it on the floor now." And he was like, "Careful what you wish for." Next thing you know, he digs in his pocket to produce the knife while he's starting to run to her. What do you think should happen? You're an officer of the law. You're there because someone who you confirm to be the one to commit a very deadly crime against another human being is refusing to follow your orders and is willing to end you as well. What do? You got to protect yourself, right? You got to be aware of what might happen, the potential dangers, and your surroundings. Because what happened to this officer is exactly what can happen to anybody else, except they won't be as lucky as her. Because what had happened was, as soon as he started charging at her and was taking the knife out of his pocket to 100% stab her, she ran backwards. She screamed, ran backwards, yelled, "No, no, no," tripped over herself. All of this without having any form of protection on her hands. Not her taser, not her firearm, nothing. On top of that, when she walked up to him to make contact to him, not only was she only like 7-8 feet away from him, she was also in between two vehicles where the only way out was backwards, back from where she came. No side movements, no anything else to try and get a distance from this guy. She could only go backwards, which is part of the reason why she tripped over herself. Her partner, who was a male, pulled out his firearms, landed 2 shots in the suspect's chest, and the suspect later passed away in the hospital. She's fine. She's completely fine physically. I'm not sure mentally or emotionally, but she's fine physically. They were both put on leave, pending investigation, the last that I heard. And yeah, that's exactly what happened. The reason I say this is this. Situations like that, like I said before, you have to be aware of the potential dangers. One thing, like I said, it's easy in Monday Night Quarterback, but when you do certain things like this long enough, you know the do's and don'ts of everything. If you're finding somebody who already committed a very deadly crime against somebody just moments ago, assume that they're going to be willing to do that to you also. When you find that person and everything and try and make contact, be aware of what's around you. Be aware of where you can and cannot go. Be aware of what can or cannot be an asset to this situation for you. On top of that, be prepared to fight if you have to. And that's exactly what had happened. Unfortunately, this officer did not have her firearm out, did not have her taser out, did not discuss the game, as far as we know, did not discuss the game plan with her partner, what's going to happen, and instead was primary contact, walked very close to an individual who she knew had a knife, and look, she almost paid the price. What's scary about that is the fact that some of these calls that happen like this, the officer can very well easily have been alone. She could have been alone if that department did not have enough people to partner her up with anybody. And if that had happened, I think we all know how it would have ended for her. And that's the terrible part. So it's just like, it's just, you learn. You look at this and you learn. You know, like, this is what I'm going to do next time. Or, you know, this is what I'm going to try and avoid and do if you haven't been out there yet or anything like that. And yeah, and which brings back to more controversial topic that some people are just not cut out for certain types of work. And unfortunately, that's a generous amount of female officers that are not cut out for that type of work. And the reason I say this, again, is personal experience, like I was explaining to a different person. In one of my previous places of employment, I was in a situation that turned south very, very fast. And it ended up with me having to physically fight against somebody who had nothing to lose. While in the middle of that scrap, trying to gain control and everything, I had a partner with me. Except it didn't feel like I had a partner with me because I was on the ground by myself. And nothing else was happening except me trying to maintain my dominant stance. I finally get a dominant position, look up, and I see my partner. She is standing there frozen. No relaying messages to our dispatch for extra help. No spraying this guy. No, nothing. Just nothing. Absolutely nothing. Not even like trying to put pressure points. Not even trying to fight with me. Absolutely nothing. So I end up having to yell on the radio, and I end up throwing something at her. And yeah, and that's how she snapped out of it. But from that point onward, I was just like, yeah, no, you're not coming with me to any other calls unless I have a different partner. And yeah, that's just how it is, you know? That in like countless videos where the officer who has made mistakes that shouldn't have been made happens to be a female officer. And now what I blame is the lower standards. It's getting very sexist very fast. No, but the reality is I blame the lower standards. You know, when you go into fields such as law enforcement or the military, men are expected to reach a certain standard of physicality, a certain standard in marksmanship, and a certain standard mentally, because these jobs require you to make choices that can affect you and others forever. It's a very difficult type of employment, a very difficult field. The reason I say I blame standards is because of this. While men have to run 4 miles, women only have to run 2. If men have to complete 100 push-ups, so women only have to complete like 40. When it comes down to pull-ups, men probably have to do like 50. Women have to do like 10. It's different. It's a different standard. And the reason I say that's terrible is because of this. If we lower the standards for a certain group of people and keep the standards raised with another group of people, when it comes down, like when we go out to the field, guess what? The field isn't going to adjust itself for who's the one out there. The field is going to be whatever it wants to be, you know? And it's just like, imagine you're in the military. You're part of a crew of men who have trained extensively for the situations that you're most likely going to have to face out there. And they had to do that over and over and over again because of how hard they were trained and conditioned. Then you have some other soldiers who may be women who didn't have to face the intensity as their male counterparts. In come a firefight. Life and death situations. It's very, very likely that the ones you're going to see stepping up and saving your life are going to be your male partners, your male battle buddies, while the women probably not so much. And that's not to say that there's no women out there. No, there's plenty of women out there that are capable, really capable. I mean, look at the female UFC. Those women are hardened fighters. They're warriors and everything. But generally, that's not the case, unfortunately. And yeah, my whole thing is this. I'm all about equality. I'm all about if you, no matter what your gender or anything or race, want to be somewhere where it's intense, where it's demanding, where it's labor, like just so much danger and risks for your own personal being, don't lower the standard for anybody. If you can't meet the best standard, then you can't meet the best standard. You might be able to help in other fields, in other positions, but just not the ones that require you to be on top of your game like that. Oh no, I'm glad that she's okay. And honestly, it's just like, it's all you can really ask for. But yeah, that's just my whole thing. If you guys look up police activity, you'll be able to find it, no problem. Oh man, what time is it? Oh, it's 3 o'clock. All right, well, I'm just gonna wrap it up here. I'm gonna edit this video right quick. I was hoping to do 2 today, but I just got caught up playing Stardew Valley with my boy and everything. Tomorrow is my Monday, unfortunately, but you know, it is what it is. Oh my god, what a banger to finish to. Yeah, this is a song that plays every time you get into a bar fight. One of the best ones was when you're playing Hatham Kenway and you're meeting Connor's mom, and you guys go to the bar, into a pub, to a tavern out in the frontier, and then the guy's like, "Oh, where you going, Pollock?" And it's like, "Well, I was leaving." And then he was like, "What? Was?" And he's like, "Yes." "Oh, what are you gonna do now?" And he's like, "Well, now I'm gonna feed you your teeth." And then out comes the freaking drop, which I missed because I was hoping to like, my god, the music for the combat, and it's brutal. Oh my god. It's too low. Yeah, no. One thing I love about AC3 is the fact that the combat was changed from Assassin's Creed and Assassin's Creed 2 Brotherhood or Revelations, because it just became a lot more brutal. And more so for Connor than it did for Haytham. Haytham had this elegance, this regalness to his combat. So smooth, so flowing and everything like that. If you guys play it next time or just watch it on YouTube, compare that to Connor and the complete freaking brutality that Connor delivers in his fights. That guy has scrapped. And I don't mean scrapped like proper or anything, but he has scrapped for his life. It's amazing. Play it. I'm gonna play it like later on today probably. But yeah. All right, guys. Thank you very much for my over an hour of just talking and mumbling and everything like that. I am your host. Well, I was your host, Armando Ortega. And I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. See ya.